Hello, hello. This is a Chakra Tree Yoga installment. Just gonna kind of do some various things. I'm on a kind of a God kick right now, or rather, I am examining the way that humans conceptualize God, the world around. And while I not include every tradition in this particular moment, I do assure you that I try to include as many different ones as possible, even though I have my own faith. Let's be clear about that. I think some of these videos will be helpful because I can clear up some of the things that, I post a lot of things and it can be possibly overwhelming for people to absorb everything and may get confused. But I do have sort of a core philosophy and a point that I want to address. So I think that these will help bring clarity to the subject. Anyways, past the P's. So this particular one, I sort of was like, all right, what if I write a small book of aphorisms about God? And it's not arbitrary. I have over 10 years of study of different religions and philosophies, and I would say the bulk of my study has been primarily yoga. When I was younger, a lot of Bible study. Right now, I would say 5 years of Bible, 10 years of yoga, and 10 years of assorted, combined with that. So it's more like 20 years, but I don't know how hard I was doing it when I was 16. I think that once I hit about 30 years old, I really dove deep and really started getting into it. I had a lot of time and I had an inheritance at that moment. So I just decided to really study hard. I don't know if it was the wisest idea, but I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now and share with you if I didn't do that, because I would have nothing to really back it up with. I'd just be completely making stuff up. And yes, I guess I'm making things up, but not really. Anyways, sayings on God, aphorisms on God. Number one, those who argue over the true name of God aren't interested in knowing God. And by the way, you can substitute God with whatever you want. It's not a problem with me. I encourage it. Universal Spirit, Great Spirit, Bhagavan, God, Jesus, Allah, whatever. Call God what you want. I think God just wants to be called. 2, God has no gender, but appears to have the power to manifest as either or neither. 3, God is not in books, but in the spirit of wisdom therein. 4, our past actions create our present condition, and our current actions create our future condition. God has nothing to do with this. We're responsible for what happens to us. Quick side note, I do believe that God can intervene. However, what we reap is what we sowed. And God has sort of a neutral perspective on this, where it's a type of free will. You're really being given a gift to choose to some extent. Ooh, look at that bee, look at that bee. It's gonna hang out with us for a little bit. I'll give it some space. There you go, see ya. All right, that was a nice wasp. I find it's best not to aggravate those type of creatures. Number 5, there is no undeniable proof of God on this earth that I know of. And perhaps it's the Lord's yoga maya, or illusion, or it's God's power to veil you from the truth that he or she or whatever doesn't want you to know. Maybe you're just not ready for it yet, or me or whoever. So anyways, again, there's no undeniable proof of God on this earth that I'm aware of. And perhaps it's the Lord's yoga maya that keeps it this way. Number 6, every version of God is the highest God. They are all one. I really believe that. Number 7, the all-pervasive form of God is neutral. It's the God that is in everything. The all-pervasive form of God is neutral in every kind of way. That's it for now. I mean, I have plenty more, and I have lots of notes that are scattered all over the place. Someday I will organize them fully. I think this is a good start, and obviously when I do these type of things, they're more of samples and intros, and I don't want to completely overwhelm or make excessively long videos. But I do believe that there is some value in creating your own interpretation of things, because if you're just reciting from a book over and over again, I mean, don't you think that's just kind of stale? I mean, I don't know about you, but that's how I feel. So one of the things that I do in my practice is You're saying like, oh, well, if these are all pulled from different traditions, I always come back to the same tradition, and that kind of keeps me balanced. I do, Sanskrit mantra, various forms of it. I carry these cards just as sort of like as something I can carry with, and then I can kind of recite the mantra, and that way I don't have to keep it in my mind, because there's a lot of them and it's in a different language, so, it can be difficult. And these are more for symbols, teaching. I truly believe that symbols have power in themselves, mostly to help you get a concept of something abstract. And these are all, of course, you may recognize some of them, religious and philosophical symbols. That's sort of my focus. This is what keeps me balanced. It's okay for everyone to do something a little bit different or the same. It doesn't bother me, and I won't tell you to do yoga, which is, I'm not Hindu, but it's steeped in Hinduism, so it borrows from it. But I have no label. I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Hindu, I'm not even a yogi. I practice yoga. I don't let myself be labeled anymore. However, I will just say things for the sake of ease of conversation so that people can understand something better. And sometimes it's good to just put things out as sort of a generalism instead of this is just my projection, more of it's let's all talk about this. I don't know if that made any sense, but it made sense to me. The last aspect of this before we end the video is I hope this was useful for everybody. These are really great for me, by the way. It's amazing how you can give, but you can also get back in a different kind of way. Helps me focus on what I'm already focused on, if that makes any sense. So this is a mala, yeah? It's a string of beads. This particular one is Rudraksha. I got this a long time ago at Reggae on the River in California. Oh, over a decade ago, maybe 15 years ago. It was a great festival. Reggae music, good times, you get rafts floating down the river, drinking beer. All right, so this is a wonderful tool. You can just carry it, or the traditional way, they call it jop or japa, is where they hold the bead, and I have other demonstration videos, so just really quickly. The index finger represents the ego, is generally pointing away, never touches any of the beads. Beads are only picked up with the thumb and the forefinger, and they are strung through each repetition of the mantra. Om, 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 whatever it is. Usually they do start with om. And there's different kinds. There's ones made from the tree. That's a seed from a tree. It's a seed in a fruit from a tree. This is made out of citrine. This is a semi-precious gemstone, inexpensive, but still very nice. Has kind of a weight to it. It's very smooth. It's very pleasant, actually. Citrine has a representation with the sun, amongst other things. So again, same techniques. Om, 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 om. I use them for different purposes. I'm not going to elaborate on that because you may not really be into it, or it may just be too much to absorb. There's plenty of ways that you can look that up. So, anyways, I hope that this was informative, and I truly just want to help amongst the other things that I have to do in this world. Amen. Namaste. Om Shalom. Greetings and blessings.